It has been a busy week in Washington and beyond, and we are so grateful to have Alabama Republican Senator Katie Britt back on the show. Senator, thanks again for your time. Temporary DHS funding, which includes funding for ICE, expires in about a week. As you know, you're chair of the DHS Appropriations Committee. Democrats want to end roving patrols, prohibit masks for federal agents, and in most circumstances require a judge to sign off on warrants for DHS immigration apprehensions. Is there a path to a deal here?
Look, I know that Republicans are operating in good faith, and I sure hope that my Democratic colleagues will do the same. At the end of the day, this is about the safety and security of the American people. We have been left a mess because of Joe Biden's open border policies, Linsey. I mean, when we are looking at what he did, letting countless millions of unvetted people into this nation, it is imperative that we keep our streets and our communities safe. Look, if the Biden administration had done what it was supposed to do, Laken Riley would still be alive today. So would Jocelyn Nungary. So would Rachel Moran, and so many more. So we're putting the safety and security of the American people first. What Republicans will not do is change the law. What Republicans are not going to do is not enforce the law. And so it is really important to remember we are talking about a funding bill here. We had a bipartisan agreement that was a good bipartisan agreement that dealt with even having funding for body cameras and de-escalation training. That's something that Democrats walked away from.
A new poll out today found 63% of voters disapprove of the way ICE is enforcing immigration laws. Are there aspects that you don't agree with in terms of how ICE is currently operating?
Look, I believe in the law and I believe in enforcing it. I believe when we have criminal illegal aliens, they have to get off our streets. Linsey, I believe if someone has been given their due process and they have their final orders of removal, it is time for deportation. And the American people overwhelmingly support that. Look, one thing that we are not going to do is walk away from state and local law enforcement officers and asking them to work with federal agents to actually be able to do those two things that I laid out for you. Currently, we have sanctuary cities across this nation that continue to refuse to comply. When they're given an ICE detainer and we have a criminal illegal alien in custody on a state or local matter, they release them back into the public, meaning that these federal agents have to go find them. Where we're having cooperation, you're seeing Tom Homan draw down the number of people there because that is what it'll take to keep our law enforcement officers safe and our communities safe. Look, let's not forget how we got here, Linsey. We got here because of rhetoric from the left. You think about what they have been saying time and time again about our ICE agents, calling them the Gestapo, encouraging them to get in their face, doxing them and their families. This is absolutely, completely and totally unacceptable. It is creating an unsafe environment in our communities, and it's also created an unsafe environment for our law enforcement officers.
So you mentioned there are unsafe environments in the community. There are some who feel that ICE is creating those unsafe environments, i.e. the family of Renee Good, the family of Alex Preddy. Are you in agreement and alignment with all of the tactics that ICE has been using in Minneapolis?
Look, I believe in the law and I believe in enforcing the law. We want to make sure that it's done the right way. You've seen from the very top President Trump calling the governor, President Trump calling the mayor. You've seen Tom Homan come in and saying, we're going to take a look at this.
The president has doubled down on calls to nationalize elections. Under the Constitution, as you know, American elections are governed primarily by state law and are decentralized. While you have affirmed your support for the SAVE Act, I just want to ask you specifically about President Trump suggesting that the federal government should step in to run elections. Your response to that?
Yeah, so Linsey, look, I believe that elections should be ran at the state level. Really important that we do that, but very important that they're free and fair. And what President Trump is saying here is he is saying, look, he supports the SAVE Act, which the vast majority of Americans do as well. It's important to note that we already have laws on our books that say that only American citizens can vote.
Senator Britt, once again, we thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Linsey.